Hey there, viewers! A Transformers fan or Charlie Young back again with another Transformers review. And today's review is going to be on Studio Series Concept Art KSI Widow, or Widowmaker as she was originally going to be called. Because, yep, as the name implies, this is another concept art figure. And this is actually the first concept art figure that's not a Bumblebee movie figure because, of course, last year we did get a few concept art figures, but they were Bumblebee movie figures. Essentially just giving us a few more characters in the Cybertron scene aesthetic. And I guess you could debate whether or not these were actually concept art, like Megatron definitely was, but Sunstreaker and Rumble and Frenzy, eh. But for Widowmaker here, she definitely was a concept art figure. Like, I'll show the concept art after we take a look at the box. So, of course, standard new style Studio Series packaging. So we got a picture of her in both modes. Of course, she was going to be in Age of Extinction. Concept art KSI Widow. 17 steps. Here we just have a picture of her. This side we just have more of this artwork. The back got her in both modes. This is actually a licensed McLaren, which is pretty cool. Here we normally have a picture of her in the film, but seeing how this is a concept art figure, we just have the old Age of Extinction logo. So, here's that. And it says what she would have done in the film. Oh, I guess you could argue that she technically is in the film, which I will explain later, but that's pretty much it for the box. So, yeah. So, this is kind of an interesting figure because unlike Megatron, Rumble, Frenzy, and Sunstreaker, who were pretty much just normal cells, just in the Bumblebee movie Cybertron scenic aesthetic, we actually do have the concept art for Widowmaker, or KSI Widow, I guess as she's called now, because thanks Overwatch. Ugh. But we do actually have the concept art for Widowmaker. Here it is. And this concept art right here is what the figure is based on. Although we do have some more concept art, which... Oh. Okay. But anyway, this figure actually does something else. Because you see this vehicle here, which is in the film, this McLaren. They've actually gone ahead and retconned that vehicle as being Widowmaker, or Widow, I guess. I might flip between the names, but they've retconned that vehicle as being Widowmaker. So she's been retconned as being in the film now. She just never transforms. Which I guess is kind of in line with some other characters in the films, so... honestly, it's kind of a clever move. And I do quite like that. So, yeah. They just gone ahead and made her a McLaren, because I think originally she was going to be a Pagani, but then that turned into Stinger. So, yeah. Now, unfortunately, I don't have Stinger, because that was one of the first Studio Series figures. But it would be cool to have them side by side. But anyway, of course, now just being on McLaren, we can see the vehicle mode. And honestly, this looks pretty cool. It's always nice to see a Studio Series Bayverse car former. Even if it is kind of panel-y, you can see like the line right on top. And the transformations can be kind of fiddly, but this one, oh, you should see the transformation on this figure. But anyways, for details, of course, we got the bonnet right here, got the headlights, got the grille. We do have a windshield wiper right here, even if it's split apart by the transformation, but We do have the windows, or the little side view mirrors, that's what I was trying to say. But we do also have the windows. Yeah, we do the side view mirrors right here, which is pretty cool. You have this bit of detail. I'm not sure what this is called in like sports cars, but The wheels, I'm pretty sure are pinned in. You can see that, so yeah, she does roll pretty well. So yeah, Widow does roll quite well. Got the back windshield, which you can see through. Got the petrol cap here on the left side. The back, you can actually see if it'll focus. It does say McLaren. And the underneath is pretty clean, although that is most of the robot right there. But we don't see the head, which is pretty nice. So yeah, overall, I love this vehicle mode. I mean, the concept of it alone is really cool. The fact that they took a concept art character and retconned it into being in the film, technically, with a vehicle that doesn't even transform it. It's like Rollbar from the same film, because they took a vehicle from the film and made a toy of it. Like, it's like Rollbar. Or even some of the first movie figures, where they took vehicles from the first film and made them characters in the toy line. That's what this is like. So, yeah. Now, anyways, looking at the accessories, we got these two guns. And already, I can tell, no black compatibility, so no need to get my tub out. But we get these two guns, and for storage, it's actually kind of complicated. So, you're meant to do this while transforming her. But I opted to leave the guns out just so I can show them right here. And if I quickly look at the guns here, actually attach them rather abnormally. They go on the sides of her arms, so that others can't really hold it that well. But the storage is rather weird. Instead of just going on the top or on the sides, it stores inside the car. So I'm trying to get my fingernail in there, which this is actually quite fiddly. There we go. So you can see all this opens, and there's a head. What you're meant to do is, if you see those little ports there, that's how you plug in the guns. It's just that these don't really plug in all too well, or at least on my copy. Your one, they may plug in just fine, but on mine, they tend to come out a bit too easily, because as soon as I close it back up, they tend to just come out. But that's how they're meant to store. Let's see if I can close this back up. Nope. You can see, when closing this up, this leverages them out the way. But you do get an idea of how they're meant to store in. So, yeah. You do get the idea, but I just prefer to leave them off to the sides. Oh, just trying to get everything back out. So, yeah. I think that's probably my biggest complaint, is just weapon storage is a bit poopy, pardon my French, but honestly, it's kind of a minor thing, because this vehicle mode otherwise is really good. So, let's move on to the transformation. So, to start, I'm just going to repeat what I just did. So, I'm going to lift up the entire windshield, if I can actually try and get my fingernail in there. I think this is probably the hardest bit, because there's no wiggle room to try and get your finger in here. Come on. Oh, there we go. So we lift all of this up, and that reveals most of the robot mode, and the transformation is pretty much mostly all this, with the head and the arms just folding up, but you'll see. So untap the doors, and I guess we can just, yeah, there we go. So move the front down, but don't move the head and the shoulders. So the front bonnet and the doors move down. We can move up the front wheels and the doors like so. The shoulders are just gonna come out on these little armatures here, like so. The head is actually pegged into the arse here, so we're just going to undo that and move all this up. So it comes into place here. These side bits spin around. So you just get that untabbed, if I can do this. Oh, that is stuck in there. There we go. So you just get that untabbed and spin it around and just push this in so it's like little leg armor, I guess. Take the feet, move these down. There we go. And let's just split all of this. There we go. So split the legs. And this is my favorite part. You know how the Prime Vehicons transform with the legs? It's the exact same thing, and I freaking love this. So fold up the bonnet, fold up the windshield, fold up the roof, and then fold all this up. You got that? Here, I'll do it again just to show you. So, fold up the bonnet, fold up the windshield, fold up the roof, and then close all of this up. Oh my god, that is amazing. Like, it's exactly like the Prime Vehicons with how their legs transform. Like, it just all folds up. That is beautiful. Like, I can show on this side just how it all compacts. You see all of that? That is just... And it makes a really compact leg as well. And finally, well, you're meant to move the doors down, but what I'm going to do is weapon storage first. So just take the guns, and they just plug into here. And thankfully, compared to vehicle mode, weapon storage for robot mode is way tighter. Like, this is a lot more secure. So we just get the guns into here. There we go. And then move the doors down. And here we have Widowmaker, or Widow, or KSI Widow, in robot mode. And I love that transformation. Like, compared to the same, like, Seeker transformation that Wolfenstein Cybertron Thundercracker had, and that Crap Show that Elite 1 had, and like, I just love this transformation. It's kind of like another concept art figure. It's sort of like Sunstreaker, like, the way things move around. So yeah. Just the way that the legs are the Viacon or Prime Viacon. I think it was the already line from Prime that the Viacons were from. But just the way that the legs transform like the Prime Viacons. It's amazing. Plus, if you want the guns, kind of just plug into there and they're gone. Something that you can also do, as I showed, like in the vehicle mode, but here it actually does plug in pretty well compared to the vehicle mode where they're held with hopes and dreams. And yeah, it does actually look like the concept art here. She's orange instead of red because she's also meant to be the McLaren car. So yeah, and I'm glad they chose this over the one with the long tail, although Double Punch here does sort of have a tail that resembles that, so maybe like, there's no port on the back to plug it in there, but you could maybe hold it as a reference. So you could do that if you want. Just reference the second concept art. So you could do that. But then this is red and this is orange, so... So I think instead what I'm going to do is just give her the guns. So just come under here, get the guns out. And these don't plug into the hands, although you still can take normal like 5mm guns if you want. But what these do, these plug into the sides of the arms, which is pretty cool. Come on, can I get this plugged in? This one's being a bit stinky and not plugging in. Come on, it's just because I'm on camera. There we go. Oh no, never mind. Alright, after a quick jump cut, here we are with the weapons. And honestly, I do like these weapons. Like, yeah, I don't like the vehicle mode storage just because they don't really work, but in robot mode, I do like how they integrate. It's not intrusive. Although, one issue I do have, although it's just my copy, mine's missing a kneecap, unfortunately. Like, you can see how it just flips down, like, so. Yeah, I could maybe call and get this replaced, but for me, it's not a big deal. If she was missing a leg, for example, then I would definitely complain and like try and get a replacement. But something as insignificant as missing like a knee joint, or well, it's just missing a kneecap, like this bit here, and it doesn't impact the transformation or the posability. I barely even notice it's not there, so yeah, it sucks that the QC's kind of missed a bit, but for me, I don't really notice that it's gone. It's not as big as like Chop Shop having 2 left bug legs, for example. So yeah. Now, I feel like I should look at the heads. So we can see that she's actually got hair, which actually just carry around to the back. And rather cleverly, she does have hair like coming out the back as well, but it's not attached to the head. It's just the little stand thing that works with the transformation. So that's pretty clever. So she can still move her head around. And compared to that second bit of concept art with that tail, this looks a lot better in my opinion. So yeah. And for posability, unfortunately she kind of falls short in this. Like, head can go both ways, although the, I guess, dreads do kind of get in the way here. Arms can move, although she can't really move her arm all the way up, unfortunately. But she can T-pose, bicep rotation, elbows. Unfortunately, there's nothing at the waist, but she can kick forward. Back about that far. Knee, basically about that far. Splits about that far, unfortunately. Although there's a swivel there. The foot can move up, and unfortunately, there's no ankle pivot. So she is missing some bits, but oh well. She still looks really nice when standing still. Plus, I love the transformation. And plus, I love this figure. Like, yeah, there are some complaints, such as the vehicle mode storage for the weapons is not too great. The articulation's kind of lacking. But overall, I really like this figure. Like, I'm glad that we're getting concept art figures that are not just from the Bumblebee film. Like, hopefully we do get more. Like maybe Springer or Breakaway, or maybe like even that Ratchet from the first film. That would be cool. But honestly, this looks really cool. Plus, I love how the legs transform. So for me, this is a fun just desk toy. Just fiddling with the legs, for example. The vehicle mode looks amazing. So yeah, do I recommend this figure? Absolutely. She looks great in both modes. The transformation is really fun. It's quite simple actually. Just have to, if anything, the hardest bit of the transformation is just trying to get things tapped in, but it is manageable. So yeah, she looks great in both modes. She's fun to transform. She looks great. The weapons are non-intrusive in robot modes. The storage, well, kind of weird in vehicle mode. It does work in robot mode. So yeah, in my opinion, I really like this figure. Probably one of my favorites out of this current wave. Although I think my next review is probably going to be my absolute favorite. So yeah, this has been my review on Studio Series KSI Widow. And this is a Transformers fan signing off.